Okay, hello. All right, so I have been working recently on DBT integration to their semantic layer. So adding support for the semantic layer into Omni. And a lot of the work so far has just been like base backend infrastructure, but there is something demoable now. I have a DBT repository, my standard testing one, where I have a measure. That counts up the signups, and I'm going to add another one just so you can kind of get more of a sense of what's going on. So I need to Roam things are blocking my window. I'll edit it in here. Let's say we want to add another measure. So doing some of this live, I haven't tested all of these different aggregates and stuff. Let's say I want to do something with the average age. And change the aggregate to average, and there's a column called age. I'm gonna somehow save this. I haven't actually used GitHub editor before or very much. Okay, saved it. Now I'm gonna go into Omni, and first things first is this is all behind a feature flag. So let's turn that on. DBT semantic layer for my dev org, add it. Now go back to my model and refresh schema and hope that everything works. Yeah, drum roll. Thanks.
I thought that was gonna be better. Roll.
There we go. So my two measures that were defined in the DBT semantic layer are now in the Omni model, and they got the right aggregate type and yada yada. So yeah, I can do that basic importing of measures. It's I need to do more scrutiny on like, is it creating these things correctly? I need to learn more about all the different options for both DBT semantic layer and Omni and how they map together. And then there will be some support coming for like dimension stuff, but that's just sort of the first step on the journey. That's it.
And just to sort of ask a question there, is the general philosophy like we're trying to find the ones that parallel into our model? So dimensions and measures being like the most obvious use cases, but we're going to sort of piece apart the things that exist in semantic layer?
Yeah, if I understand you correctly, so like step one is just the things that map very nicely, dimensions and measures. But like a quick follow-up is going to be looking at what they call entities, which can help us define relationships in the Omni model too.
Yeah, that was my question, is like, are there stuff that's just really far away from the way that we operate?
I haven't seen anything that's super far away. I mean, they do have specific types of measures that don't exactly map in. It's definitely not, we're definitely not gonna be able to get everything that's defined in there. And so one of the things we've been talking about is updating the health to sort of make it clear, like we saw these things, but we can't import them because of whatever reason.
Yeah, makes sense.
What's the query path going to look like too? Is it just exactly normal today too, or is there anything sort of custom you have to do?
Like to actually go and query these in Omni?
Yeah,
it should be nothing different. It's all just getting. I mean, I don't think so, unless I'm missing something in your question. But
no, that sounds good. I know that they have like some sort of slightly strange SQL syntax too, but I think that is what that makes a ton of sense to me. I think honestly, keeping it simple makes a ton of sense. That's what we should do.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. That's all.
I think the question that we get the most in the field here is like, what's the best place to put this, and or like where is the best place? So like I guess the broader question is like, is ultimate goal to also be able to take Omni defined measures and write them back to DBT, and then that way we can just make the recommendation, do it all in Omni, and then you're going to be able to write it both ways? Is the ultimate goal to say you can leave it in the DBT semantic layer and we'll inherit them from there? Do we actually have like a path or a recommendation we're taking that?
So John Palmer had a great blog post for this week too, and you know, shout out to the marketing team as well. I mean, the sort of the meta message is we think that semantics or something that actually are evolutionary. They change as data changes and the business changes too, and having it be close to where they're consumed, in an ad hoc way is really important. They need to evolve, and you need to progressively harden them. So it needs to be able to be, lightweight, ephemeral things that can be completely thrown away, and then things that are standardized. I'd say the sort of the important sort of nuance that I think we're with the DBT semantic layer integration, with Snowflake and Databricks semantic layer integrations as well, is we don't think that that doesn't have to live inside Omni. We want to help facilitate it. We want to help you leverage it wherever you've got it defined as well too. We want to make it super easy to pull in metadata and context from the database schema, from DBT projects, which we've done for years now. But then sort of simultaneously now, what we're effectively doing is opening up the virtual layer as well. So sort of that logical layer that semantics can be defined in. But basically, we don't want it to be locked in. We want it to be open and well integrated as well.
I have a question if there's no follow-ups there. So if like one of the things that we run into is if there's already something that exists that has like the same name, I don't think we handle that super gracefully. Like the example is like if somebody has a count field, it's a dimension in their table, we automatically create a count, and then in the model validation, there's errors. So I imagine there could be like something kind of similar that would happen here where, they would define a metric and it has like signups underscore total. But then what if the same thing gets defined in Omni? How will we, are we putting thought into how we could handle that?
The same as it exists today too. You can actually ignore fields or delete fields from schema model 2 in the shared layer. So you could delete the count that we're automatically creating if you want to expose the model, the modeled dimension that is present within it. So like the layers should compose intelligently. We want to make it easy for folks too. We want to give them the ability to do not only to do things like take the count that they define inside DBT and do things like add drill fields or add links or add colors that are, sort of mapping that are effectively really only UI layer pieces. We will also want you to be able to overload these things too, so that the user can say, take that average field and realize that they actually want average minus 10% for something. I don't know, but like they can change the logic and compose it. That's all sort of the Omni model allows for sort of that expression directly.
Right.
And
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. It's just more of like if you only ever live in the workbook and there is that type of collision, that is sometimes not obvious to you.
I think that if you're using DBT model, you got to accept that someone's a little bit more technical and needs to be engaged at the IDE.
Cool.
Super excited about that though.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for handling all of that, Jamie.
No worries.